Hello everyone, welcome to another insightful episode of Derana BIZ 24. Now today we're going to talk about something that is related to life. For the very first time in Sri Lanka, a life insurance company has introduced a revolutionary new insurance solution that not only provides protection to Sri Lankans who live overseas, but also has a dollar-based savings. So today's conversation is all about the Softlogic Life Dollar Saver Plan. And to talk about this, we have the very special Managing Director of Softlogic Life Insurance, Mr. Iftikhar Ahmed. Hello to you, sir.
Nice to be here. Thank you very much for having us.
The pleasure is all mine to have this conversation with you today. So to get the conversation started, I would like to ask now, Softlogic Life has pioneered many transformations and product innovations in Sri Lanka's life insurance sphere. What was the inspiration and thinking behind this Softlogic Life Dollar Saver Plan?
Right. So as you are aware, we are Softlogic Life. We are a life insurance company. And when it comes to the life insurance business, what we have always felt is that we must keep our products relevant to our customers, right, and to our customer segments. We have kind of departed from the traditional insurance route. We have a multifaceted distribution strategy. So, for example, we have the traditional agency distribution. We have separately alternate distribution, which deals with corporates and institutions, and we have a platform distribution, which is about partnering with platforms like telcos, etc., so that we can commoditize kind of insurance. Now, when it comes to the Softlogic Life Dollar Saver, I think our inspiration is driven by about 2 million Sri Lankans who live and work overseas, right? And as we all know, this is a very valuable source of foreign exchange for Sri Lanka. These Sri Lankans living overseas remit annually about $7 billion US dollars back to Sri Lanka, and for our country, this is one of the most key key requirements in terms of foreign exchange. So when we looked at how Softlogic Life can expand our customer segments, we saw this as one very key area where we could do this, and it is that inspired this product, Softlogic Life Dollar Saver, where we felt we could offer an insurance product, a good return, and in that combination what it would allow us is to provide a solution for Sri Lankans living overseas to invest back, to invest in an insurance product, or to bring back and take on an insurance product in a Sri Lankan context. And we felt in that way that we would be actually providing both an investment as well as protection to a very large community of Sri Lankans overseas. And to us, we felt that that was very relevant, because as I said at the beginning, everything that we do, we try to make it as relevant as possible to our customers. So that is the inspiration behind this product, and it's industry first. It's the first time in the industry that a Sri Lankan company is coming up with a foreign currency product, and we are very happy to be able to bring this out and to present this to Sri Lankans all over the globe.
I'm sure that's a great option that has been given by Softlogic Life Insurance. Now, talking about the current situation of the country, talk about insurance or any other industry. As much as it has affected the whole world, the pandemic has it has significantly affected the Sri Lankan economy. How has Softlogic Life been able to keep up the momentum within the industry and also now to go beyond the borders?
Right. So that's a very interesting question. And yes, as we know, the pandemic has impacted not just Sri Lanka, but I think on a global basis. The impact has been kind of devastating, especially in certain areas. When it comes to insurance, however, right, what insurance, especially what life insurance is about, right, is, and as far as Softlogic Life Insurance is concerned, we are about protection, right? And here we are talking about protecting an individual's health and also protecting against, in terms of mortality, right? If you pass away, what do your loved ones, what do your dependents basically have available for you. So, when we look at what the pandemic has done, it has brought this awareness of life and health insurance right to the forefront, right? And this awareness that was perhaps much more muted previously has now really come to the top in terms of people being aware of what these risks are.
That's right.
And how these risks should be covered, right? So, if you look at last year 2020, that's the 2020 March is I think when we had the first wave of COVID in Sri Lanka, right? So, the year 2020 passed, and the life insurance industry for the first time passed 100 billion rupees in terms of gross written premiums. It grew 16% last year, right? Okay. And it was, I think, one of the few industries that actually that had a positive impact, because Sri Lanka's growth last year was a negative of 3.5%, right? And Softlogic Life grew 25% last year, right? Then we move on to 2021, and in the first half of this year, for 6 months, the industry went up 30%, right? Softlogic Life went up 43%, right?
Oh, okay.
So, as you can see, the awareness for life and health insurance has kind of picked up substantially, right? Has picked up substantially, and as a result of that, we are seeing great traction when it comes to life and health insurance business. So, I think what this does is that it also helps protect our customers, it helps protect Sri Lankans, because if you look at the whole COVID pandemic, and if you take the first 8 months of the year, we paid out something like 560 million rupees in terms of claims, COVID related only, right? Okay. So, I mean, that is something that otherwise people would have had if they did not have that protection, right? Yeah. That is something that they would have been, hard pressed to find. So, yes, it has been, the pandemic has had extreme negative influences, but in certain parts of the business, things have also been different. And I think what we are saying here is what it has enabled us to do is to be there for our policyholders, our customers, right? And for Sri Lankans who needed the protection, and I think as a life insurer, we have been able to give them that protection.
I think just like you said, Softlogic Life Insurance is anyway known to be there for its customers whenever they need. With that, I would like to talk a little bit about the product, the Softlogic Dollar Saver. The product offers a 6.5 guaranteed return in USD. How does that really work, and how financially, what is the financial background of Softlogic Life to give this offering to customers?
Right. So, as a life insurance company, we are regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka, and when it comes to the investments that the company can make, these are also regulated according to certain standards, right? For example, every insurance company needs to have at least 30% of its investments in government securities, right? Because government securities are considered to be the most liquid, the most stable form of investment that you can find. So, when it comes to how we manage our funds, we have a very experienced team of fund managers. So, it is their mandate to essentially manage these funds in the most optimum, in the most safest way that is possible. Talking about the Softlogic Life Dollar Saver product, it is a foreign currency product, and what we hope to do is to make these investments in government securities and in bank deposits, right? Okay. So, we will not actually move out of that space, and we will also not convert any of the foreign currency that is being received, because we will continue to operate in foreign currency itself, right? So, there is no actually a risk of converting back, right? Yes. There is no risk of converting back, and what that does is that it assures the policyholders who come on board with us with the Dollar Saver product that we are able to then pay back, and we are able to give their funds back with the return that has been guaranteed without any delays, and without any issues,
Yeah.
because it is there is no hedging issue or there is no conversion issue that basically comes about, and the availability of the foreign exchange is assured because we have continued to maintain the investments in foreign currency.
Okay. Okay. I'm sure that is a question the public might have had when talking about USD, whether there will be a conversion issue. But if you really had that question, now you know there is no such issue. There won't be really any conversion issue. So with that, we would now like to take a short break. Welcome back after the break. We're in conversation with Managing Director Softlogic Life Insurance, Mr. Iftikhar Ahmed. Now, to continue the conversation with, I would like to ask a question. Now, life insurance industry or any other company, they're known to have a very traditional approach when reaching out to customers, where sometimes people run away from insurance companies when they get the calls. How different is the approach of Softlogic Life Insurance?
Right. So, I think when it comes to insurance, you're right. I think there is that perception that this is something that is really tiresome, that is really not needed.
Yeah, I think it's the approach.
It is the approach. It is also the perception, and I think quite frankly, the life insurance companies, and we've taken that mandate on ourselves, right? Need to change their approach, need to be different, need to be seen as being there for their policyholders, because another very another criticism that is leveled against insurance companies is that they go back to the fine print and try to defend themselves, you know, using different clauses and items like that.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to insurance, I think why people buy insurance is because they want to trust the insurance company. They want to be sure that when the moment of truth comes about, right, that means when there is a claim that has to be made, that the claim will be paid.
Whether
right?
the insurance company is actually there for you.
Yes, absolutely, right, absolutely. So, I think that is the most crucial point,
Yes.
right. And so, that is something that we really take to heart. Because not just from a Softlogic Life perspective, from overall Softlogic Group perspective, we are a very responsible corporate group. If you take our overall group, we are the leader in healthcare with the Asiri hospitals, we are the leader in retail, we are very dominant in financial services. So, if you put all our businesses together, we are probably the Sri Lankan group that has the largest customer base, right. So, why I am saying this is that we therefore have to make sure that when we interact with our customers, right, that we are just not selling an insurance contract, right. We are selling them a promise that we will be there for them, right, and that I think is what is most important, right. Now, having said that, and in terms of delivering insurance, right, as we all know, the pandemic has brought about a lot of changes, right, and the traditional method of someone coming and visiting you in your office or your home 3 times to sell a policy is also not practical
Definitely
nowadays.
not.
And I think people don't want to even see someone if it was earlier difficult, now it is probably improbable, right, because it's even more difficult, right. So, and as a result of that, what we have done is, we were anyway geared on the technology platform, right. So, we are very much technology oriented. We have our in-house IT development strategy. And so, what we've done is we can actually send a quotation electronically. So, you open a URL, right, on your phone, it comes up in a web page that has all the details that has been entered. You can go through this. We can actually confirm that contract by way of an OTP, right, so first of all, some details are confirmed by way of an OTP, and the rest can be either signed on a device itself. Yeah. And we have now gone in terms of agency 100% paperless, right. Yeah. We don't have a single proposal form actually coming in. For a month, we do about almost 1.5 billion rupees worth of business, 1.5, 1.8 billion, right. And the entire thing is without paper, right, which is, we think, a great achievement, and that is the way I think we need to also continue to develop products, and that is the way that we need to be able to serve our customers. So, now So that's about a policy coming in or a customer taking on a policy.
Yeah.
Then comes the claim part of it, right? So now claim also, the traditional way used to be, you fill a form,
Exactly.
you send it, you wait for it, you call it 3 times, etc., etc. What we've done is that now you can essentially WhatsApp your claim to us, right? We will process it, and we are the first company that has come up with a standard, meaning that if a claim has to be paid, let's pay it. There is no point in hanging around and deliberating about it, etc., etc. So we started with the objective of saying that more than 80% of claims should be paid in one single day, right? And we consistently beat that objective. So we are now at about 87–90%, right? There are certain claims that require further scrutiny, etc., but bulk of it can be done without any delay, right? So it is these operational processes, right, that also transform insurance towards making it something that is not difficult to deal with, right? And that is very important when you look at customers, and understanding that customer journey also is something very, very important for insurers and insurance companies to understand.
That's right. I think being a policyholder, I could also agree and say that how convenient the service they provide. Along with that, I would like to ask the question regarding coming back to the product again. Is this product only accessible for Sri Lankans who live abroad? And if so, how can a customer who's overseas access this product?
Right. So as when we looked at the whole landscape, as I mentioned, so there are 2 million Sri Lankans overseas. They send $7 billion back to Sri Lanka annually, and we thought that is something that is a customer segment that we should actually look to get in as Softlogic Life policyholders. So that was our objective. The next thing, of course, is how do we make it easy or make it convenient for these customers to come on board. So what we have is a very simple process, and how that process works is that you can go to our website and subscribe for the product, or we will push based on a inquiry. We will push a URL to the customer puts in his details. If the minimum value of the product is $5,000, but up to $10,000, you can either put your debit card or a credit card, and we will then process the transaction based on that. The product has a maximum of $100,000, and for the $100,000 amount, then you need to do a bank transfer, right? But up to that 10,000 limit, which is where we think the bulk of our business is going to be, it's going to be simply an online process, right? Simply an online process. With that, the customer is onboarded. What we will subsequently have is a verification call, because that's also important from a regulatory perspective when it comes to various issues of money laundering, all the other regulatory framework that we need to observe. So that will happen subsequently, but we keep this very convenient, we keep it very short and concise, so that it can be completed in maybe about 5–8 minutes perhaps, right? And basically that's it, right? And it's paperless.
Okay. So along the line, I would also like to ask, with the dollar crunch being a heated topic today, what more can the private sector do to help drive Sri Lanka forward, and what can we really expect from Softlogic Life?
Yeah. So at Softlogic Life, we are a very innovative company. We have a brilliant team, and I think the innovation comes from that team, because without an exciting and forward-looking and a team that is orientated towards innovation, you can't do much, right? So I think we are happy, we are fortunate to have that in our lifeblood. It's like in our DNA. It's that we need to look at the different segments, we need to look at the different products, and we are constantly looking to see how we can come up with new things for different segments of customers. So we have a few other things that are lined up along the way, which will come about. But to answer the overall question about what can the Sri Lankan corporate sector do, it's, I think, entirely about innovation, right? I think you need to look in terms of the product or the service that is being offered, what that is, where are your customers, how conveniently can you deliver this product or service. And nowadays technology is so accessible, it's available, right? It can be put on in a short space of time, right? So and you know what we believe is, if you set your mind to something, right, and if you plan it out carefully, and if that particular product or service provides value to your customers, you will always do well in that product, right? And that is what we have seen in our business, right, which has grown at 30% CAGR over the last 5 years. It's just not a 1 year, 2 year thing, and that has been more than double the industry growth rate, right? So I think that's the inspiration that we'd like to leave with everyone else, so that I think if we can do it, everybody else can also do it.
Everybody else also do it. So with all of those words, I'm sure we as public also expect Softlogic Life to come up with many more innovative ideas. As we have come to the end of today's program, on a final note, I would like to ask you, what kind of a message would you like to give to the public who is watching us today?
Right. So I think what we are asking from this program is to spread the word, right? Spread the word about the new product that we have launched, which is the Softlogic Life Dollar Saver product. We want you to take this to your friends, to your relatives, to your contacts, you know, all over the world. 50% of Sri Lankans living overseas are in the Middle East, right? Yes, so send it to them, send it to Australia, Canada, the UK, South Korea, you know, all those locations, right? Spread the word and tell them that there is this opportunity. It's an interesting opportunity. It will not be there for long. So I think the objective should be to take advantage of this proposition with the Softlogic Life Dollar Saver product.
With that message, so definitely the conversation today was all about Softlogic Life Dollar Saver Plan, which is a new revolutionary solution that has been given to us public, where we can start spreading the news to everyone who lives abroad. So with that, thank you so much, Mr. Iftikhar Ahmed, for joining with us today. We had the conversation with the Managing Director, Softlogic Life Insurance. Thank you so much for joining with us today.
Thank you very much, Ashish.
With that, we shall see you soon again with another insightful episode of Other Derana BIZ 24. Thank you for joining with us.